Hello friends, welcome to episode 121 of the Shauna Stitches Podcast. I'm Shauna and this is my crafty channel where I talk about all the things that I've been working on lately. Today is November 2nd, 2025. It is Sunday afternoon, 1:41 p.m., later than I normally record, and I am hot. We were just out running errands, and even though it's not very warm outside, man, I can sure feel the heat as I'm moving around. I just remembered I did not plug my microphone in, so let me do that real quick. Okay, I'm back with the microphone, and I wonder if you can even tell a difference. If you can or you can't, if you'd let me know, that'd be great. It's one less step to do if you can't even tell a difference. Let's see. Right down below, there are links to everywhere that you can find me. That includes Ravelry and all of my Ravelry project pages, Instagram, Goodreads, my email address, an Ask Me Anything thread, which I have gotten some questions on, so I really do appreciate that. But of course, you can reach out to me by email also, and I've had many of those as well. It's really great to have more than just a one-way conversation with you all. So if you have questions, comments, anything like that, I would love to hear them. And I was just mentioning how warm I am, and that's because I am wearing this sweater, which you have never seen, but it has been done for quite some time. This is the flax sweater in a worsted weight yarn. The yarn is Knit Picks Wool of the Andes Worsted, non-superwash. I'll stand up, kind of, not all the way, so you can see the rest of the sweater. Unfortunately, I'd have to move you way back to show you the whole thing at once, so you'll have to take my word for it. But I will pop in some pictures at the end, or at least more towards the end, to give you a better view of the rest of it. I have more to say about this sweater, but I'm going to do that a little bit later. Stay tuned. Okay, let's talk about some finished objects. I feel like today's episode is going to be rather short because if you've been following along with my mystery MusiKAL knit along, you know that that pretty much consumed the majority of October for me. So without further ado, if you haven't seen it, I'm about to show my finished shawl. This thing is real big. I will have to put pictures of this up too because you will not see it all on this screen. It is just massive. I vlogged my way all the way through this mystery, just like I have many years before. It's so interesting to see it come together. I don't think I've ever had one that was so surprising. Just looking at those two very drastic clues there, clues 1 and part of clue 3. And I really had my doubts that this was going to come together. But somehow that simple brioche border, it just tied it all together, and I really love it. As I said, I do have pictures to show just the enormity of this shawl. I used almost the entirety of 4 full skeins. All of my yarn is by or was by Tusken Knits. She no longer dyes, but I have this brown color and this kind of tan, white, variegated color, but it's subtly variegated. This one here. This is the only one I actually knew the name of. It's called Love Letter. So I used all of those 2 colors. My third color was this teal color, and this was an interesting yarn. I don't know if you can see it. I can see it. There are these long hairs. This yarn had mohair in it. I can't remember. Oh gosh, my other yarn's falling. I can't remember the exact makeup of this, but I just knew I had never used another yarn like it. It is non-superwash. It is mixed with some superwash, and I don't mind doing that. It has never caused me any problems. My fourth and final color is this one, which is mostly orange, but it's got that tan, and then it's got speckles of the brown in there too. So it really tied it all together. And I do think the best place to really see those different colors is this diamond section here. So we had A is the brown, B was this color, C is the teal, and D was that. In addition to that C color, I did hold this mohair, also by Tusken Knits. And my thoughts on this shawl, I really love it. I'm a little disappointed because I don't think I learned anything new in this shawl other than you can sure get away with mixing and matching things. We have curved lines and straight lines and very, I don't know if Art Deco is the right word, but it's obviously very bold. Some people say it's kind of like a sampler. And for sure, it's out there just like Stephen West. I did do one extra section on the border. The border only called for 3 brioche sections, and you could even just do 1 and then do an I-cord. But I had just enough yarn to do 4, which I love because it made it so that I was able to showcase each color once. The way the pattern was written, here we have A in the forefront and then D in the background. Then I went to D in the is that the right word? Forefront? It's in the front. D in the front and C in the background. Then C in the front and B in the background. And then B in the front and A in the back. The shawl was written to have a 2-color I-cord bind off. And I'm kind of second guessing myself because I think I followed the pattern. It has 2 stitches, 2 rows before switching color. But then I see a lot of people are doing it with 1 row. So I'm really wondering if I did it right or wrong. It doesn't matter ultimately. I just am curious. So I continued with my colors A and B for the bind off until I eventually, where is it? Somewhere here. Eventually I ran out of B, so I added C, then I had A and C. And I thought A was going to make it all the way to the end, but just shy, I ran out of color A, so I have color D in there as well. So I truly used every single color in my bind off. It's the very first time I have ever completely run out of yarns for my shawl. Usually I have leftovers, even making the border bigger. And I love it. It is my biggest mystery shawl ever. And I wonder if year after year they're just going to keep getting bigger. When I first found this off, I held it up, I tried it on. It felt very long, and it is very long. It's way beyond my wingspan. My wingspan, I still have that much left over here and a good chunk over here also. But after blocking, it got huge, and I am not an aggressive blocker. I don't normally get a lot of growth with blocking, but it really got a lot deeper, and that makes me very happy. I'm really too hot to be putting this on right now, but I will just kind of try and put it on. I am not the best shawl stylist, but at least give you an idea of what it might look like. Also, it probably doesn't go well with my gray sweater, but stripes on stripes. When it's knitwear, we can mix and match, right? I'm sure Steven would approve. So I really love it. My favorite way to wear a shawl is to wrap it around my shoulders and then tie it around me. I'll show you what I mean. So I wrap it there, crisscross the front, take these 2 to the back, and I won't do it here, and then I just tie it. And I'll even use one of those stitch holder things that looks like a huge safety pin. I'll put that through the knot in the back. It makes it stay. I can knit, I can move my arms, and it just stays in place. I don't really wear my shawls out of the house. I mostly wear them at home if at all, but this is the way I do like to wear them when it's chilly, which is not right at the moment. Okay, that's all I have to say about that. Very happy with it. I will definitely participate again next year. That was shawl number 8, MusiKAL number 8 in a row. I will do number 9 for sure next year. Quick water break. Okay. The next finished objects I have to show you are all of these baubles. You'll be happy to know I have finally finished my bauble extravaganza. All 33 baubles for my coworkers are done. I'm very happy. I even managed in that 33 number that I have one of each color for me. As I get them here on my fingers, I'm not going to go through them one by one. But something interesting to mention is that all 33 that I did are all different patterns, which I love. It helped me not get bored. There were some that I liked more than others, some that went with my color choices better than others, but overall I am quite happy. So there we go. There's a good look at, this is 13 baubles. A whole lot of baubles. So we have the blue and black color, and then the black, gold, and white. These are both yarns by Chicken Lady Fiber Arts. The black and blue is called LEO, and the white, gold, and black is called 911 Thin Gold Line. So I am so happy to have these done. I have a picture that I will insert that shows all 33. I'm dropping baubles, and I'm just very excited to have these done. I don't normally make gifts for my coworkers, but this is something that's been on my mind for several years to do. And then when I saw these colors that were perfect, that's kind of what made me finally take that leap, because I had thought, would I self-stripe the yarn myself, like get a bunch of black and a bunch of blue and a bunch of black and gold, or how would I do it? So just having the colors already ready to go just helped a ton. So no more baubles for a while. I think all those were patterns by Stacey Lewis. She does a knit along every single year, at least for a lot of years in the past, usually coming out with a new set of 12 bauble designs. And you can knit any of the patterns. You could knit the same pattern for all of your baubles, and then you enter them into the KAL. I did win one of the weeks. I got a $25 gift card to my yarn store of choice. I'm very boring. I picked Knit Picks, and I'm still saving that $25 gift card for the next time that I want to buy something. I was really tempted just to go and buy yarn without a purpose, but I am trying to be better with my yarn buying choices, and so I'm going to hold on to it and wait, and I'm going to hope that I don't forget that I have it. That's the real problem. Okay, one more finished object to show you, and this one I both started and finished yesterday. This is a crochet bowl cozy hot pad is what it's called. So it's a shallow crocheted bowl. The pattern is by Amy B. Stitched. It's a free pattern on her blog. I found the pattern on Ravelry, which is linked, but then if you click that, it takes you to her blog. I haven't crocheted in quite some time, at least not a lot. And this is all just single crochet. So it's, let's see, single crochet and slip stitch. So pretty easy. Before I started knitting, I actually crocheted exclusively for 8 years, and I would say I got quite good at it, and then I just kind of quit doing it. It's funny because I remember being a crocheter and looking at knitting patterns, and I thought, oh, how boring. All you have is the knit stitch and the purl stitch. And for some reason, I did not like the look of knitting, which is so funny thinking that now, because now I absolutely love it. I love the rhythm, the motion. I love all of it. I love the fabric. but when I was a crocheter, I just didn't get it. Now I get it. I actually learned to knit because I wanted to knit socks. I did try crocheting socks. That was where I drew the line. It was a big no. So this has a double thick bottom and then a single thickness sides. I used Knit Picks Dishy in the Cabin Multicolor. I was a little bummed about this. I pulled this out of my stash. I remember I bought it because it was on sale. Thank goodness. It might have even been closeout. The reason I say that is because when I weighed this before starting my project yesterday, I had 89 grams out of what was supposed to be 100 grams. And I know I didn't use it for any other projects. So that is really disappointing. Like I said, I'm glad I didn't pay full price. It's also disappointing because this took about 46 grams and I think I have 43 grams left. So I couldn't make a complete second one out of this, but I do have some other colors. The reason I made this is it's intended that you put your bowl of leftovers in here and then heat it up in the microwave, and then you can either grab it by here or you could grab it by the sides. I made it because at work I am tired of burning my fingers off as I leave our break room and take my lunch to my office, often to find that the center of whatever I've heated up is still freezing cold. So it will not stop the center being cold, but at least it will save what's left of my fingerprints because that stuff gets hot. I truly don't understand how the outside or even some of the food can be as hot as molten lava and the inside be completely cold. I've even started stirring it halfway, hoping that helps, and sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. So this is coming to work with me tomorrow. I'm very excited to have it. I had wanted to make more than one. I guess maybe just to have one at home or to have more than one at work. But crocheting this hurt my hands. I don't know if it's just because I'm out of practice with the motion, but it hurt this thumb joint because as I was crocheting along, I'm holding it and you can't see my thumb, but I don't know, I just felt like I had a death grip on it. And I don't remember that being an issue. The issue I did have when I crocheted a lot was that the tendon in my right wrist from that hook motion, it would get really aggravated. So as time went on, I could do it for less and less period of time. But I didn't experience that with this one because it didn't take very long. The only thing I will say about the pattern and what I did is I had to go up like 2 or 3 hook sizes. It calls for a 3.75. I started with that and my gauge was much too small. Normally I wouldn't care, but this actually needs to hold a bowl, and I pretty much take my lunch in the same bowl every day, and I checked it does fit in this. So I started over on a 4.5 millimeter. I probably could have even gone up to a 5, but this works and it fits the bowl just fine. Okay, that is all of my finished objects, but now I do have some works in progress to share with you. Let's see. The first work in progress I'm going to show you is actually a spoiler. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to gray out the screen so that you can't see the colors, because what I'm going to show you is the 2025 Freckled Whimsy 24 stripe Advent yarn. I am not going to show all of it. I'm not going to show the cake, what I haven't knit, but just like last year, I started knitting that Advent skein. I won't say right as soon as I got it because I was busy working on the MusiKAL, but pretty much as soon as I was done with that, I did cast them on. I'm not very far, but just showing it in black and white should help. If for some reason you don't even want to see what the contrast looks like, you know, because it's going to be in grayscale, then I will tell you when to look away and when you can look back. The only thing I will note before I do show it is that I am using the Vanilla Bean Socks pattern by Kayla Litton, the Crazy Sock Lady. It's my first time using the pattern, and I will be knitting all of my Advent socks this year with that pattern. Every year I kind of like to pick a pattern and use it for my Advent socks so that it's easier for me to know that, you know, these ones were from the same year. Do I need to do that? No, but I kind of like to do it. Okay, so if you don't want to see the black and white version of what I have so far, and I only have 4 stripes. So if that makes you help decide a little bit. I'm not showing color, just gray. You can go ahead and look away now. All right, hopefully you're not looking because I'm going to show it. So that is what we have so far. I do like the vanilla bean pattern. It's nice and stretchy. Okay, I am done showing that now, so you can look back. What I am going to show you in color is my choices for heels, cuffs, and toes. I did not get the mini that came with the set. I just went into my stash to my leftovers and I picked some things that I thought looked good. So I guess if you don't want to see those, I mean, it's not a giveaway to what the colorway looks like. I just thought that they went nicely. So I have this yarn, which I think is Cascade Heritage. It is in my Ravelry page. I just don't remember. But it's a nice green. I have, I guess you don't really want to see that. I have this one, which is a leftover from a shawl. The very first shawl I ever knit. So this is old stash. In a teal kind of color. And then I have this reddy pink kind of color. So all kind of Christmas colors, which I thought looked nice. I guess I could show them all together. There we go. So I'm just going to do a different color each for the heel, cuff, and toe. Obviously, if you looked at that, you see I'm doing them toe up. The reason I'm doing toe up, which is not my normal, is so that I can make sure I get all 24 stripes in there. I'm blanking on the dyer's name for Freckled Whimsy, but she sent along a letter with the advent that said that she is experimenting with slightly wider stripes this year. And normally I use well over the 24 stripes, but I just wanted to make sure that I didn't, reach the toe at like stripe 22 or something like that. So going toe up is going to save me from that. I have 2 more whips to show you. The first one is the Lullaby Blanket by TinCanKnits. I have not made much progress at all since I last showed you, but I do believe some of these lighter colored stripes might be new. If not, it might be exactly where I showed it to you last time. I wish I could remember. I did skip a regular episode just because I was so busy with the shawl that I had nothing else to show. The last work in progress I have to show you is my Resurrecting an Old Whip. It's my Travel Mode Baby Blanket. Hopefully you can see most of that there in the screen. When I showed you this, I spun my whip wheel. It picked this project. I was right here on this yellow stripe. And as I told you then, I was worried about figuring out where I was in the pattern. But once I started looking at it, it was very easy. This is an easy pattern. I only picked this up this morning. I finished this stripe. And I made it this far on a second yellow stripe, which is easier to show, or easier said than done. I really love this blanket. I don't have a recipient in mind, but I'm sure that someone will have a baby girl before I know it, and I will be able to gift this. But I have to finish it first. I started this back in February of 2023, so it's high time that it gets finished. And that is all of the current projects I have to talk to you about. So let's go back to this sweater. This was a secret knitting project that I talked about, from the first of the year, because I got my Wool of the Andes yarn in the mail from Knit Picks right around the very 1st of January. I did not cast this on until April 6th of 2025. I finished it May 26th of 2025. And this was my project for this year's blocked calendar, which has the theme of Harry Potter. So I was trying to figure out a Harry Potter themed project that I could make that would be something that I would wear beyond a calendar photo shoot? And this was my answer. I did some Googling and I found that Hermione wears a sweater similar to this, probably closer to fingering weight, but I did not want to knit a fingering weight sweater. So I adapted the Flax Worsted pattern to have stripes. When I got started in the pattern, one of the things that I generally do actually backfired on me this time. I normally just start knitting a pattern without having read all the way through it. Usually that works better for me because if I don't really know what's coming, I read each step very carefully, and it makes me not assume that I already know where it's going. Because sometimes if I read ahead, then I'm like, oh yeah, this comes next, but really it was something else. 99% of the time that works best for me. Where it backfired on this one is that I knew that TinCanKnits had updated their patterns to have short rows. Normally when I have knit a sweater, short rows happen right after the neck ribbing, obviously on the back, but you know, well, this would still be the gray. And I didn't find them in the pattern, so I just kind of thought, oh, I must have downloaded the version that doesn't have short rows, because I think maybe they still have both versions available. So I just kept going. And I believe it was after the sleeve split or the body split, whatever that's called, separation of the sleeves. That's where they did the short rows. And by then I had an established striping sequence. I could not think, and I didn't try hard, but I could not think of a way to incorporate short rows with the stripes and not have it look weird. I have never put my own short rows into a pattern. I know that a lot of people do that. If I were to do this again, I would have figured out how to add short rows directly after doing the neck ribbing. If I remember right, this pattern has the option you can either cast on directly with the ribbing, or you can cast on with the sweater and then come back and do the ribbing, but I did the ribbing first. So that's the only thing I would change. I did have a false start where I think I had spaced my stripes too far apart. But if you look at the picture of Hermione's sweater and mine, it ended up, proportion-wise, I was able to get, I think, exactly the same amount of stripes. I don't think I added more, but it looks proportional if you think about hers being a lighter weight sweater, and also me probably being much bigger than her. I'm very happy with the color choices, matching hers as close as possible. So I mentioned this is for the blocked calendar. So I have a preview video that was made by Neil from Blocked, where it shows each of the month's pictures for the calendar, and I'm going to insert that here.
Audio calendar using the link on the screen.
Okay, so that's the little preview video. In that, you saw that they saved my picture for last, so obviously the best for last. That was my joke anyway. He actually just said that the reason mine is December is because it had more Christmassy kind of colors. The other thing that you saw in that video was my Brave at Heart mittens or mitts. These are by Dianna. I have Dianna Walls. I don't think that's right. I think it's Wallen maybe, and I think my computer auto-corrected. But these are colorwork mittens. I made these out of Knit Picks palette in the colors Hollyberry and Golden Heather. And I think they just came out so good. I knit these a long time ago. So when they announced the theme for the calendar, I originally thought of these mitts, and they were made for a gift. I never gifted them. So it worked out perfect. They've never been truly worn, not for like winter mitts, only for the photo shoot. But I made these, I started September 11th, 2020, and I finished them September 14th, 2020. So that was a quick turnaround. I just love them. They're so pretty. She does have designs for each of the houses. So there's Slytherin, Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw, and Gryffindor. I've only ever made the Gryffindor mitts because the people that I was making them for are big Harry Potter fans, but then I found out they're not very knit worthy, so these probably never would have gotten worn. So I've just kept them for, I don't know why, because I'm not going to get rid of them. Anyway, I really love that. I have the link to purchase either the digital version or a printed version of the blocked calendar down below. So you can go ahead and click there. You can also check out Neil's page, Blocked Magazine on Instagram. He should have it in his link tree. And if for some reason you can't find it any of those places, you can go ahead and let me know, and I will try and send you a direct link. So I'm really excited about that. I think this calendar turned out really well. Last year, 2025, or really this year, was the first one we'd ever done, and I think this one is better, and I only imagine that over the years they're just going to keep getting better and better. I have ours from this year, and it stays in our kitchen, and we mark all of our dog medicines and important notes on there. We use it every day, so it's really nice to have a little bit of knitwear right there where you can see it, and also useful as a calendar. Let's see. Let's talk about life stuff, and then we'll talk about books. My life has been, not really my life, I don't know. Work's been crazy lately. I've just had some very long days. We got a brand new computer system after 15 years of using the old one. So needless to say, there are growing pains, and it is frustrating. I have to say, learning new stuff like that, even though I tend to be fairly tech savvy, it is taxing. It makes your brain hurt. There is just a lot of learning going on. And now as a supervisor, I'm not just figuring out for myself. I am helping, I supervise 2 people at the moment. So I help them as well as many of the other people in my department, just as I come across them and they have questions. So I feel like I have caught on faster than some, which makes me feel good. It makes me feel good to be helping others. But gosh, it has just been exhausting. I'm sure if you have had to learn a new computer system after being kind of stuck with one and really knowing it well, you can probably relate to just how exhausting that is. Other than that, things have been going well. I continue to go to the gym and work out. I am quite frustrated with it. Not for anything that's going on at the gym. My lifting is getting heavier. I'm getting better with that in that aspect. But where I'm getting frustrated is that I see absolutely no improvement in the shape of my body, which, you know, I know that's not the only reason for working out. It's not the true reason why I started working out, but it's still frustrating. I feel after 3.5 months of dedicated going to the gym 3 times a week, plus some other stuff, that I should see something. It's interesting because I can actually feel a difference. Like if I feel like my leg muscle or something, I can feel that it feels more dense. There's more muscle, but why can't I see it? And I know you might be saying it's just because you're not looking at then and now, but I did take photos and I will not be sharing those because I'm not wearing a lot of clothes, but I can tell you I don't see a difference, and that is frustrating. Also, the scale has not moved a single ounce. Very frustrating. But I'm sticking with it. I'm not giving up because I've got goals to live a very long, healthy, and mobile life. And I know it's the best way to keep doing it. I think that's really all I have. I've just been feeling fatigued and run down lately, mostly I think because of the work exhaustion, just not feeling rested and kind of having like a cold, but not really. It's just been one of those things where it's like you feel like you might be starting to get sick, but it never turns into anything, which is good. I don't want it to, but I also just don't want to feel tired all the time. So I'm hoping that things will settle down and I will start feeling better. Okay, so my reading since the last time that I talked to you has been abysmal. I have finished 2 books, and it's a funny story because both of them are graphic novels. I'm not a graphic novel reader. I don't actually really like them that much. I much prefer to read a normal story and visualize things myself. But Kindle had a challenge where you had to read a graphic novel to fulfill one of their little achievement things. So I picked Anne of Green Gables, which I think it was actually geared toward children, but I enjoyed it more than I thought I was going to. I gave it 3 stars, still not my preferred format, but it wasn't bad. And then at the end of it, it did not give me my achievement. And I was like, what the heck? Because it had to be a certain graphic novel or like from a list of graphic novels. And I swear that was on the list. So I even gave it a couple days thinking maybe it just needs to catch up in the system. Nope, no luck. So I picked another one, which was The Lady of Shadows 3. That is based on, I want to say it's book 2 of the Dark Tower series by Stephen King, which I love that series of books. I did not love the graphic novel version, especially because it was just a small little snippet. I know the way that graphic novels work because there is so many pictures that one story will be broken down into, gosh, is it issues or something? My husband is big into graphic novels. I just don't like them. So it was just a small little snippet of the book. So I think where it started really didn't make sense, and maybe even where it ended didn't really make sense because it was part of a bigger picture. Luckily, I had read the whole Dark Tower series, so I was more familiar with it. I just, again, don't really enjoy that format for me. So I gave it 2 stars. It had nothing to do with really the product itself. It's just not my style. But that one gave me the achievement. That made me happy. That's what I was looking for. The books I am currently reading at the moment are Outlive, The Science and Art of Longevity by Peter Attia. That is exactly what it sounds like. It's a science kind of based book. Peter Attia is a doctor, and so he breaks it down in language that's easy enough to understand, but I'm just very interested in learning and figuring out the best way to, like I said earlier, live a long and productive and mobile life. And I just think it's very interesting to read these things. A lot of the things that you read now are drastically different than what I grew up with. Back in the 90s, skinny was the way to be. The skinnier, the better. Muscle mass didn't matter. You know, there was such a thing as skinny fat, but I don't think we knew that back then. At least it was not common knowledge. So now what we're learning, the new science, is that having more muscle is better. The more muscle you can have, the better your outcome for a long life and a independent life. It's also good for your brain, combating Alzheimer's, that kind of thing. So the other book that I'm reading is similar. It is called Unbreakable, A Woman's Guide to Aging with Power by Vonda Wright. She's also a doctor. And this one is geared a little bit more towards, well, obviously women, but what do women experience, but perimenopause and menopause as well. So it's interesting. Both of these, and I'm blanking on the name of the book, but I read it earlier this year, a book by Dr. Gabrielle Lyon. They're all giving a very similar message, which I think is reassuring that I'm, on the right track. And that is just the message of build strength, be strong. So that's what I'm working on. I know 3.5 months in the grand scheme is not that much, but Anyway, just trying to figure it out. The other book that I'm reading actually for fun, even though it is to fulfill a Kindle challenge, is Origin, which is the 5th in the Robert Langdon series by Dan Brown. That is the Da Vinci Code was, I believe, the first book. So I've read all the books except for number 4. So I'm skipping from 3 to 5. But so far it's not impacting the story at all. I'm so happy to have that travel mode baby blanket going because it's something that I can read and knit at the same time. All month of October, my reading was just, like I said, abysmal because knitting that shawl, knitting those baubles, they're not really reading kind of knitting. And that's where I get most of my reading done. I love that combination. So I'm happy to be back at it. I think that's everything. This is shorter than my normal, but longer than I expected. So thank you for being here. I do appreciate you checking me out each and every week or every time that I post. If you are new here, please subscribe, leave me a comment or a like. I do appreciate all of them. And as always, if you have any questions, comments, anything I didn't answer or you can't find on my Ravelry pages, please let me know. I always love to hear from you. I will talk to you soon. Bye.